Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? I always ask you how's life, but nobody ever asks me how's my life. So I thought to myself, today I'm going to show you my morning routine. When I wake up in the morning, I say hello to Lord Tizona. I go and wash up. Some privacy. I always wanted to use this. And I also grab myself a cup of coffee. My actual cup is grey and has an owl on it. I like owls. And with my cup of coffee, I always think, how would I get better at Minecraft? As you guys probably know, I have the best aim in all of the Minecraft community, and that is because I practice a lot. Also, please ignore the fact that I missed it like 24 times and it didn't make it to the video. But we have Lord Abe, Duke Arash, and Sir William. 3 people with 25 shots. And then it's nighttime. It is time to wrap up the video. No, actually we do have a plan to become immortal using modern industrialization's quantum armor as well as the Sword of the Cosmos. Running around and not dying is not fun. So preferably we want to just keep that for the Chaos Guardian, but for the moment, we have Cataclysm. We do need the bosses for the Ultimate Star. That I suppose is the netherite monstrosity. Yes. Hello. And we need the mini jar. Just wait. Where did he go? Oh, I got him. So there is a bit of a problem. We don't really want to just catch him. We want to kill him once, then catch him. You can respawn the bosses, so it's fine. He's dead. Once you kill it, you will get the boss spawner. How does it work? Well, you need the corresponding eye from Cataclysm. You can summon him again and catch him in a jar. If he moves a bit closer... yeah, perfect. Our next target is somebody called Ignis. So I made the Eye of the Flame and it pointed me here. You can also use the structure compass from all the mods team, but this also worked fine. We do need a few gizmos from these blazes. Ooh, they do damage. It gives you only the one. Just wait. Let me find my ritual, you stupid idiot. Go in the jar. Thank you. So I think with the burning ashes we would be able to summon Ignis. Let's see if I'm correct or not. Yeah, that is true. Hello, Ignis. How do we kill him? I think you have to hit him in the back. Yeah, and he does have few faces, and he's dead. Unfortunately, you have to kill the other blaze in order to summon him again so that we can capture him in a jar. That's not really a big deal. I have one of the blazes in a jar, so we will get more ashes. I will summon him again. For the moment, I just have a waypoint. And we're done anyways in the nether. There's another guy who lives in the end, and I have already found like 4 structures for him. 5, 6, 7. I was looking for end cities. This was more common. There are traps. Oh, that's creepy. I think to face the boss, we have to go downstairs. Just in case you're wondering, I'm capturing anything I can. Because there's more of them here anyways. Yeah, we get the void core. And also, if I'm not wrong, after this maze, there should be another level downstairs. Yes. Oh, he spawned. Hi. Well, we kill him, as usual. Thank you. And he drops the gauntlet of the guard. Of course, let's try to summon him again. I think it's the Eye of the Void. Such a complicated crafting recipe. No, not this one. That one. Go in the jar. Thank you. Also, so much crying obsidian. I love this thing. Purple lamps. Awesome. We are not really doing this in a particular order, but the next guy is going to be the mech, and he's under the water. Yeah, we can obviously cheat with the map. It's to our west. Hello? So these are unbreakable blocks. We have to find the door. I love that thing. Just stay there. I want one of you. The rest we can kill. Oh wow, that almost killed me. Well, we put him in a jar, as usual. I don't think armor in this mod pack counts for anything. You take a lot of damage. Anyways, I think the way that you activate the mech is that you have to give it a nether star. Yeah. He's not dead. Okay, 3 hits. Don't blow up. You did. But on a very positive note, we do have the boss respawner and we can respawn him again. But this time, let's have the ritual prepared. Here is your Eye of the Mech. And voila. Okay, so our next boss is going to be the Leviathan. And I saw this structure and I was like, okay, let's wait here until the world loads. Because I have been like 7,000 blocks away. Let me kill this guy first. Thank you. Well, guess what? That's the Leviathan. Oh, we're not supposed to cheat and go from the top. There's actually a gateway or something. Should we take the door? I don't see the door. We go in. This place is just amazing. Truly amazing. Can we like transfer that one home? Somehow. I'll think about it. There are weird creatures. That one is new. You're not friendly, obviously. Well, inside the jar, everybody's friendly. Also, do you see that weird guardian? I think that's the one that we need. Because the deeplings only drop the heart of the sea. Let's make sure that we don't kill him by accident. I didn't kill him. He's safe. What the hell? What was that? This mod has gone through a huge update. Hey, you. Oh, that's you. Yeah. Yeah, we have a brute, we have a warlock. I think we can kill the rest. Oh, angler. We need the angler. Oh, so that's what he makes. I have captured the specimen inside the jar, I have killed everybody else. And what we need to make is the abyssal sacrifice. We can have the one. It's okay, I do have a waypoint over there, so we can summon him once, kill him, then I'll try to fix it. Get another one. Where is he? Hi. That was one hit. And we got a statue. Actually, the only thing that we were missing was the Athama, and we already got it. So let us try to capture the bosses that we have missed. The first one was Ignis. Oops, he broke it. This is why I'm carrying extra rituals. But yeah, he's in a jar. As for the Abyssal Sacrifice, yeah, we're just missing a few blocks. We're good to go. I think. Yes. The Abyssal Sacrifice is something that we need for the All the Mod Star. I have seen other things, but I don't really remember them. And we got him. He looks weird. He's too big. Apparently there are 2 additional bosses from Ender Cataclysm, and I do remember that one of them spawns in a snowy biome. I was not looking for a snowy biome, I had the Eye of the Storm. And yeah, it's been 12,000 blocks. And the snow ended. Is it weird that I love that mountain? It's amazing. Well, at least I know that we're getting closer because it's no longer straight, it gave us an angle. I had a huge lag spike and I was like, what the hell? Okay, so this is one of the new bosses. And as usual, the structure is just amazing. I mean, it's such a shame that we're cheesing through the fights, because look at the amount of work. You look weird. Oh, hi. I think this is Atlantis, before it sank. Don't fall down. Don't. Just stay there. I broke everything. Oops. They don't cooperate that much. Yeah, we got him. Everybody's different. Also, the thing on his head is different than the drowned. Weird. This was a really bad idea. Everybody just falls down. Statue of a goddess. We take it. If it's possible. Yeah. I think the boss fight is going to be in there, if I'm not wrong. Also, I just killed the shrimp. At which point they become a lobster. Something a teeny tiny bit funny. The main reason that we are doing all of this with Cataclysm is that first off, well, I need to finish my mob farm. I was missing so many creatures and Cataclysm was one of them. Secondly, I was looking for this. It gives you murals. I love that. You can have paintings on the wall, but you can also summon the boss. Where did you go? Oh, hi. You look very fancy. But sadly, that's how it goes. And of course, we try to catch you in a jar. Thank you. We have already killed the dinosaur, so we're good. Yeah, those are the shrimps. Doesn't really look like a shrimp. It's too big. So this took ages to find. It was like 10,000 blocks in another direction. But this would be the final boss that we have to capture, I suppose. He's not the boss. I think that's obvious. He's just a teeny tiny jerk. But I have taken samples from literally everyone. Let's go find the boss. I love the fact that also all the potteries are armory related. Also, for some reason, this reminds me of Wolfenstein. I don't know why. Oh, we got a strange key. Interesting. Let me try to find the boss room. I'll be right back. Because it wasn't up in the castle. I think it should be in the basement. Yeah, there is a basement. You know, it's just easier to dig. So many of them. So apparently the big guys dropped a strange key. We killed 2 of them, we captured 1 of them, we have 2 keys. And I'm guessing that's what it's going to open? Where's my sword? Ah, hello? You have a throne room? Without me? Do I have to use the key? Wow. I love him. Look at that texture. I'm sorry that I have to... He impaled me. I was going to say, I'm sorry I killed you. You killed me. We had the purple heart, so we didn't notice it, but yeah, I was killed. But let's try to capture him. I think we have to use the eye, or maybe it will recharge. You know, I got a bit bored. I was wondering if there is another one, and yeah, there is another castle. And that is weird. Well, let's open the gate. We already have the key anyways. Let's hope this goes fine. You just have to right click, by the way. You don't need the key. Yeah, we have him. Well, we are done here anyways. I guess we can go home. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I did mention that I really want to copy the dome and take it back home, however, there is a bit of a problem. And yes, I'm trying to remove the water, ignore it. So the thing is, that's the dome, right? That's really not the entire thing, actually. Because if we dig from somewhere, without making a mess... I'm making a mess. Yeah, basically the dome that you were looking at is up to here. And the structure goes way deeper. I can't really move all of that. I did try to make a schematic, it didn't work. But generally speaking, I love this place. Maybe next time that we are playing all the mods or anything which has Cataclysm, we just live in there. It's not very friendly. But a very important thing that I have done is that I started sorting out the loot. That's everything that we are getting from Cataclysm except the bone. We were running out of storage. So the storage is pretty standard, however there were a few hiccups. For example, the storage controller had a range up to like here. So in order to increase the range, I used the diamond upgrade on the controller. Now the range is massive. Another thing that you might notice is that you get a ton of tools that don't stack. But I understood why they don't stack, they're from Apotheosis. So I do have a salvaging table, we are salvaging them and we're getting rid of them, basically. Actually, screw whatever I just mentioned, everything fits there. I'm not gonna put ingots over there anyways. The only reason that we're storing mob drops like this is that I can have void upgrades for things that don't stack. Cause look, we have 12,000 totems of undying, where would you fit that? So I did mention that one of the reasons is that we have to fix our mob farm, and you might notice, yeah, it does require fixing. Cause I didn't know how many jars I'm going to have, and so far, that's quite a bit. But are we done? No, there's way more. Well, not way more, there are actually two more. One of them is the Snow Queen from the Twilight Forest. So I have to do the progression of the Twilight Forest, and unfortunately I have only killed the Naga, so Lich King it is. Also in the recent version, this building looks amazing. And that's the graveyard, where I got the wrought iron. Fancy carpets. Very fancy carpets. Everything is fancy. Oh my goodness, look at the candles. Yes, we have work to do. I forgot. Wait, did the fight change? No? Still the same. It's just that the animation is a bit different. I missed. And he does move faster, so it's a bit more difficult. Yeah, he's dead. But now there's an animation. Wow. Purple particles. Give me. Okay, there is an update. Oh my goodness, you can get a zombie horse. I just wanted to mention, no, the maze has been unchanged. Still horrifying. Hello, boss. Honestly, I wouldn't know what you would change about the Hydra. Seems to be the same. And glitched. Oh, hi. That was the easiest fight. I don't really understand how the new update in the Twilight Forest works, but I did not kill the phantoms. I saw a Yeti cave, I went in, I killed the Alpha Yeti, and I just came to the Queen's Tower, and she spawned. I don't know if we can take a swap, maybe not. So let us at least try to get 2 data models, just in case. She does provide us with ice. It's not just for the Old Mod star. And bye bye. 4 remaining. Oops. Oh, I think each one gives you 2. It's okay, I already know where another one is, it's that way, but let's take a detour. You know, just in case I find another glacier. Well, this is gonna be easy then. Because the final glacier that we're going to need is exactly next to the portal. This one is a bonus. What is that? Oh, Yeti. Hello. And bye-bye. But yeah, the final one is over there, near the portal. I did forget to mention that the Snow Queen is for hostile neural networks. She's not in a jar. I also added 2 Endermen because we're always short on Ender Pearls, compared to other stuff. But as I have already mentioned, there is one more guy. But don't you worry. That is going to be the final one. We want the one from Iron Spells mod. The Catacombs. Oh. Well, that's so close. So it's down here? Really? So there is a very high chance that I have been walking on it and never noticed. Yeah. Hello. So we don't really want to fight anyone, we just want the king. Yeah, that king. Let's block it off, so that new ones don't join in. So the only reason that we're going to capture this guy is that he's going to drop blank runes from Iron Spells mod. That's it. So you wake up and go in the jar. Thank you. He slapped me in the face. What a jerk. Also at this very moment there's really nothing that we need, but there's loot here. I'm gonna farm the guy for blank runes and I'm taking blank runes. I'm weird. There's a black bunny. Never seen one, but that's almost everybody that we need in a jar. And I think I have to turn that one off. I miss eating food. My fellow lords and ladies of darkness, our mob farm is not really complete. It has all the mobs, but the structure is not complete. It doesn't have a roof. But these are the things that I was talking about from Cataclysm. I really enjoy them. And they do work in a row, so you don't really have to solve a puzzle. They are in order in the stonecutter. But for the moment we are actually done here. Let's go to a compact machine. So the one that we're using for Oritech, we are also going to use it for mechanism. I added a new one, modern industrialization. I just started. So over here at this very moment we don't really have something super fancy, it's just our terminals and we're going to have a few drives. I think we just go with 1 million item storage cells? Why not? It's the correct one, right? 63 items. Okay, for the moment, let's have 10. I have everything from modern industrialization in my backpack. We're going to start with wire mills. Very odd, but we're going to start with that. I have also put wire mills on auto crafting. In total, we are going to need 13 of them. It's ready. What? A2 is so fast. Although it's not crafting the circuits or anything. Also, the reason that we're going to go with 13 wire mills is that there are only 13 recipes. We're going to configure every single machine to export to the top like so, using the wrench. And I used to think these are steam vents on the steam machines. Apparently, it's just the export hatch. Somebody explained it to me, and I'm very grateful. On the electronic machines, I knew that. It's just on the Steam. I was very confused. I thought it's like GregTech, but every single machine is going to receive a drawer like so. Not like that one, obviously. And everyone is going to be configured to auto-eject enabled to the top. So every single machine that you see over here is going to receive an item, and then it's going to process that item, and it will put it in the drawer. So technically speaking, it's an export bus with a storage bus. That's 13 times, so 26 in total. We want to save a bit on our channel, so we're going to also do some sub-networking. So these are the cables for our sub-network, a bit colorful. And I'm just alternating between colors of cables so that I don't really have to use anchors, something like that. This cable that you see over here goes to our quantum link, so that is our main cable, right? So our main network is going to receive something called an ME extended interface, or an interface. But this one is extended so it has more recipes. Our subnetwork is going to be connected to it using a storage bus. And yeah, that's an achievement. For some reason. Also, since we are going to need a controller for this system, here is a controller. We need to power it using quartz fiber, and I think something like this should work. Yeah. It's draining power from our main network. So now what is going to happen is that our subnetwork is reading the inventory of our main network, and if we start exporting copper, it will go inside the wire mill. Copper plates, obviously. And therefore if I provide the machines with power, yeah, that is copper wire. It will make it consistently until it fills the drawer. 2000 items. That's a lot. It's not really a lot for copper plates, but for other things, imagine circuits, that's quite a bit. So let us check. Iron downgrade. Oh, it reduces it to just the one item. Okay, it's fine. We go with 2000. Won't hurt. We're rich. Also, since in this version of functional storage, drawers can be hooked up wirelessly, I think we can just get away by having a drawer controller, a storage bus for our main network, and then just link the drawers. It's also on extract only. So in this way, our system is going to recognize the wires. Easy peasy. The reason that I did mention placing down wire mills like that is a bit weird is that, well, first off, you do need to have the plates before you can make the wire. I used to have no tin, now I have 100,000. Those stupid morid miners are just great, but very cool. We have started making plates. And now if we hook them up to our storage drawer, you might notice it's fluctuating. That's because the wire mills are also working. So we're going to have a buffer for almost every single component. Also, that will make sure that we're always using the maximum overclocker. I mean, when the buffers are full. What you see in front of you is not actually ideal, but it will balance out over time, because it's crafting the wires. So originally my plan was that I'm going to have 13 wire mills, I'm going to have like 25 compressors, etc. and then set up this base, but that's really not going to work. So we need to take care of different components. For example, in order to make electronic machines, here's what we're going to need. The analog circuit, which I already had a pattern for it, but fine. But analog circuit is going to require resistors, capacitors, the analog circuit board, we're out of inventory, and the inductor. So now if I want to craft analog circuits, it's going to be ridiculously fast. Well, it's crafting the gold plates. Why? Oh, you're not connected. Oops. Yeah. Otherwise, we had the gold plates. But you get the gist, right? So that takes care of the analog circuit. We also need the electronic circuit. And that brings us up to silicon. So we have a dear friend in the comment section who told me a cheaty way to get silicon. So normally when you want to get silicon, you have to electrolyze something, but apparently there is a very cheaty method. You get a block of silicon from Applied Energistics, and you unpack it. That was probably one of the best tips I ever got. It's not hard. I have made a few changes here. First off, I moved the drawer to a more centralized location so that we can cover a larger area. Because with the copper upgrade, the range was up to here. We were missing this section. I have also copied the exact same design that we had for a subnetwork over here. You know, on the left wing. And yeah, we're getting silicon. That silicon ingot from modern industrialization is going to be converted into plates. Lovely. And now we need to do some gizmos. I don't really think it's going to be required, but let's try it anyways. So transistor has two recipes. One of them is this one, gives you 2. The other one is this one, gives you 4. It requires p-duped silicon and n-duped silicon. Don't know what that means. But what I do know is that it's incredibly cheap to make. We need antimony dust as well as silicon plate. The other one requires aluminium and silicon plate. It just gives us a better yield, otherwise I don't really think that's necessary. I have made boo-boos in the system. I dropped so many items inside, by mistake. So antimony is already in dust form, however aluminium is not. We can use mechanism, but it's fine, I do have a few machines that we can use. That's a macerator. So that means if we export silicon and aluminium, that should somehow work. It's not putting in both of the items, is the thing. Yeah, then it's going to just fill it in with silicon. Modern industrialization machines are not the wisest, like GregTech. But we can lock the recipe, I suppose. Yeah, that solves the problem. Maybe I'm the stupid one. Also, now we come to the part where I said request terminals are going to be very useful. So let's have something for antimony. Let's always have 2500 ready in the system and craft them in the badges of 3000. So that it doesn't really have to constantly craft. And exactly the same thing for aluminium. We just want to make sure that we have everything in stock. That's it. I have done something similar with lead so that we would be able to make battery alloys as well as different plates and curved plates. So that part is good, and even though we have tons of machines, we're just using one P2P tunnel. I think so far for me that has been a great achievement, and I think we even have a channel free. Yeah, 2. So now the main question is, if we want to have like 1000 electronic circuits, can we craft it? I just want to see if there are any missing patterns. Yes, rubber. The rest of them, we just need to wait. Also, did you notice the copper? I think for copper wires, we are going to need an upgrade. 32,000. That's a nice number. Do I have copper? Yeah, it's not great. We'll fix copper as well later on. For now, it's not a big deal. I have 200,000. Compared to iron, it was like half the amount. Oh, and by the way, this is not really relevant, but do you know this connected textures thing? I don't like it, but here I did manage to avoid it. You just unwax it. Then it looks beautiful again. I don't know, I just wanted to mention that just in case you also love this block. Why wouldn't you? It's beautiful. Anyways, let us also try and fix rubber. So for rubber, we're just gonna cheat. We're going to use villagers. We're going to export emeralds into the auto trader, and rubber sheet itself should be imported. It's an import-export bus. Yeah, that is true. We're importing the rubber. I have more villagers. Not all of them have the rubber trade, but also some of them are going to sell us pistons. Not pistons, electronic motors. Yeah, that is exactly free rubber. What I like. I don't know if 3 of them is going to be more than enough or not. Because the other 3 are actually selling me just motors. Obviously, we will see. Not a big deal. We can always change it. And we can obviously also produce rubber. It's just on the wrong trade. Where's the motor? Yes. It's not a crazy amount of rubber production, but every day I think we're going to get like 500 or something. So now that most of the items have been fixed, I don't think making the electronic circuit is a big deal. Yeah, battery alloy, but it's fine, because this one is filling in the other guy's buffer. However, I have added a new wing, and we have an assembler with a pattern provider. And this one is going to make us a basic upgrade. It makes the machine work faster. And note, this is not a sub-network, this is our main network. Hence, we can use pattern providers. And did you know that in order for your machines to work, they have to be hooked up to your network? You don't really have to stand there for 10 minutes and think why the machine is not working. Nah, it's working. Let's have 10. I'm not gonna make this one passively because it's already fast enough, right? Yeah, we're using it for some of the machines, not all of them. And obviously, one of them is for the battery alloy. It works a bit faster. Even though you can lock the recipes on the mixer whenever you have 2 ingredients, I'm running into a bit of a problem. So with speed upgrades, it does work fine. Without speed upgrades, that's supposed to be copper nickel, and it's only copper. However, from extended AE, there seems to be something called precise export bus. So it will only export 1 stack of copper and 1 stack of nickel. Let's hope that works. Yeah, that also doesn't solve the problem. Yeah, I think you have to go with acceleration cards, otherwise this will happen. You can use XNet, but I'm trying to use applied energistics. I think it has to do something with the production speed because, well, antimony dust is already available in the system and lead is not being produced fast enough. So I just put 5 basic upgrades inside the macerator for lead. That should keep up. So far it's doing fine. Also, for some reason, copper is being macerated faster than nickel, so I gave more upgrades to nickel. Now it should work fine-ish. For this issue, I don't really have a viable and easy solution, but it's not really a big deal. Once the buffers get full, this will never happen again. I don't really think you're supposed to do modern industrialization in 1 day, so yeah, I'm just extracting too many resources. Anyways, one of the things that you might notice is that we have our first blast furnace over here. This is the one that we already had, and that is because we need to make something called soldering alloy. It's gonna make my job so much easier in order to make rotors. And most importantly, I can make components a bit easier. However, this soldering alloy is a teeny tiny bit different than GregTech. We don't have a fluid extractor, so it has to be done inside the blast furnace for some reason. Exactly, that gives you soldering alloy, the fluid. But that takes time. I don't really think it's something that we need in very large quantities. A jumbo tank will do. Wait, what? It's only 1000 buckets. The problem is that whatever tank I check is either too small or too big. I can't find anything suitable in between. We just have to wait for the steam, I suppose. Okay, so it's been a while. It's the next day, as usual, and I have been slightly busy because I just noticed if I go at that speed, well, nothing gets done. We don't really want to spend 5 episodes on an armor which might not even work, right? So, first off, let me try to explain to you where we stand. That is the digital circuit, which is on auto-crafting, which the first few iterations is going to take a bit of time. But I will explain how. So that should be a quest. Anyways, in order to unlock the next age, what we need is the turbo machine hall, which is high voltage. So we're in high voltage age. If the quest counts, and you need 4 circuits, it's fine. Perfectly fine. Don't you worry. There you go. That should be the next chapter. Lovely. So first, let me try to explain to you what is happening. We left off at soldering alloy, right? The next thing that I did is that I made the coke oven one more time so that I would get creosote oil so that I can convert it into lubricant. Lubricant is only used in cutting machines in order to make rods as well as bolts. Then I had to start making sugar solution so that I would be able to get some ethylene and then convert it into polyethylene so that I can get better upgrades and make a few more gizmos. Thankfully, we already had the witch farm because the sugar consumption is just crazy. I had 900,000 and almost 650,000 of it has gone for sugar solution so that I would be able to make ethylene. That's how you're supposed to do it originally until you get the distillation tower, so yeah. We will make it. Also, I am no longer using the coke oven because now I'm using plant oil and that will also give me lubricant with redstone. So that machine is now redundant. Some other important things that I had to do is that, well, we had to process rubies so that we get chrome. Chrome has to be mixed with hydrochloric acid so that you get chromium hydrochloric solution. Once you electrolyze it, you get chromium tiny dust. I had to do exactly the same thing with iron. I had to reroute everything from our ore processing, so iron gives us manganese, and manganese has to be processed with sulfuric acid so that it will give you the manganese solution, which, you know, has to be electrolyzed, it gives you manganese. and sulfuric acid back. All of those things were required in order to start making stainless steel, and we already have it on auto crafting with a ton of upgrades. And yeah, there's also a vacuum freezer to cool it down. So that was the recipe part. I think there's also a few things that I should probably mention. One of them is hydrochloric acid. For that you need chlorine. Exactly like GregTech, you will get chlorine from salt, and unfortunately the salt that you get from mining is never enough. So I have set up something in the basement. We have a thermal evaporation tower, we're giving it water, we're giving it heat, and in return, we're getting brine, the fluid, and not the person. We're using a rotary condensator, we're converting the brine into the other brine, not the fluid, nor the person, but the gas. And then there is an advanced crystallizing factory. It's from a new mod, add-on to mechanism, more machines, and that crystallizes the gaseous brine into salt. And I have just noticed I made a boo-boo. I didn't make the boo-boo, maybe it got reset, I went out of the compact machine. So that takes care of salt, therefore the hydrochloric acid. But over here you might notice I have another setup which is Oritech, and that one is taking in uranium, and in return it's giving us plutonium. And also the uranium ingots back through a furnace. Those were the main changes that I have made, which I just explained, mainly for the salt. But let me try to also explain something that I have received countless comments on. So let's get some tin ingots. So originally I did explain to you that whenever you're processing something in modern industrialization, the machine is going to be overclocked every time that it does the recipe. So now that it's making us tin plates, it's going to work faster every time that it makes tin plates, right? The problem is that once you remove the tin ingots, the progress bar is gone. So there is something called overdrive module. It goes inside the machine, and whenever you start making plates again or anything, and you suddenly remove the input, the progress bar stays there. However, the problem is that now you put copper inside. It's no longer tin, and it's not processing. It will process tin, but not the copper. So it was like 3 episodes ago that I did mention that I'm going to need a single machine for every single recipe, and a lot of you guys disagreed. I know you do have an urge to disagree with me, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, you can keep the progress bar intact, you still need a machine for every single recipe. So on these machines that we have over here, which are making us the basic stuff, I don't really have an overdrive upgrade, and I don't even have speed upgrades. Well, some of them have a bit of speed upgrade, but they do have a huge buffer. So even if I remove 10,000 copper dust, the macerator here will be at maximum efficiency one more time in around 1 minute or so not a big deal. For some machines, I am using the overdrive module as well as upgrades. This is the one which makes us the circuit. Well, the circuit board. It will only make us the circuit board, and whenever this bar reaches maximum, it will work at maximum efficiency. This is why I said the few circuits are going to take some time. So that's the most important part of modern industrialization. The rest is not important. And with everything that I have just mentioned, I just ordered 1 stack of circuits and see how fast it's making it. It's decently fast. The only problem is the gold plate, which is handled by mechanism, so it's a bit slower, and also the circuit board, which I'm assuming the machine is warming up. Yeah, I can add more upgrades. It will go faster, but I don't really think I need to. So the only thing that you have to pay attention to in modern industrialization is that you need 1 machine per recipe, and that's it. Now, in order to get closer to the quantum armor, we need oil, because the polyethylene situation is really not going to work that much. And besides, we do need the other byproducts, so that is oil from Oritech, and apparently that's also acceptable. And this is a massive dark tank. Like super massive. You see, it's not even dented. And this was a very weird oil reservoir, because look, there's a glitch, and it's still picking it up. Awesome. How much oil is in there? I would say quite a bit. This is called wireless pumping. I wish it would pump faster. Yeah, that's the maximum speed. Okay, so I did manage to gather a decent amount of oil, and well, let me try to do some explanation about the oil. This is more or less the same distillation tower that we have in GregTech, and what we're looking for is naphtha. Because you do a bunch of gizmos to naphtha, and eventually you put it inside another distillation tower, and you get all the byproducts, right? So if you look at the ratio, any oil that you put in gives you like 30% naphtha, the rest of that is almost waste for us. However, if you use shale oil, that gives you 50% naphtha, and then 45% of that is still oil, which gives you 30% naphtha. So the problem is that I have already tried this recipe. Unfortunately, the ratio is garbage. So this is why for oil processing, we're not going with this one. We want speed. Just wanted to mention that. Anyways, we need to start making the distillation tower. Distillation tower requires different parts, and I'm working towards them. That doesn't go there. I actually came over here to show you that, yeah, I'm centrifuging monazite so that we're getting neodymium. We need that in order to make the advanced motors because the magnetic stainless steel rod requires neodymium. Why? No idea. Also, it gives me helium. Why? I don't like things which give you too many byproducts in like one block. It does screw up the symmetry. It's okay, for this machine I'm using the import-export bus, we're importing the helium to our system. I added way more drives, we might as well use them. In any case, that is our processing pattern for magnetic stainless steel, but we still cannot make the advanced motor because we need the annealed copper wire. Why does it have to be annealed? No idea, but it has to be done in a blast furnace with Cantle coils. Oh, you also have to cook and freeze the Cantle. Okay. Wait, do you need Cantle for anything else? Not really. Yeah, precisely, you don't really need to have Cantle wires for anything else other than the Cantle coil that you need for the blast furnace. So what I have done is that, well, I made a ton of Cantle, you know, the dust. I have been cooking that ton of Cantle dust. We get the hot ingot. I'm manually freezing it, and I'm manually making the plate, and I'm manually making the wire. Like so. And at this very moment, yeah, we easily can make 4 sets of Cantle coils. And it's done. So we can have 4 blast furnaces with Cantle, we're going to have way more. I just have to wait for this to finish. Then we don't need to process it ever again. That was a really cheaty method for Cantle, but yeah, I have also upgraded our blast furnace to Cantle coils. And for a very long time I was just standing here because the structure was invalid. You have to select the coil. I completely forgot about that, but we also have, yeah, the vacuum freezer is also done. So we're going to have way more Cantle that we're ever going to need. Anyways, since we already have the setup for it, let us set up our annealed copper system. I have a fluid input hatch. I think that requires oxygen. Which one is the correct one? That one. And it does require copper dust. And it's doing something. It's very slow. Go faster. A bit faster. Actually, annealed copper is something that we need a lot, so full stack of upgrades. And since that is the hot annealed copper, we're just piping it into the vacuum freezer. Something like this should work fine. We don't need that many upgrades for you. Actually, maybe we do, it's just that I'm never sure. But yeah, here's a drawer, and we link it to our system. So by having annealed copper, I did manage to make the motor, the advanced pump. We already made the turbo machine hull, so that quest is also done. And basically our goal is to unlock the processing units so that we will get to the end game. Anyways, in order to get there, what we're going to need are distillation towers. So I have already set up the patterns. Let's get 2 of them. I don't really know how many blocks we need. Let us just go with 1 stack. I don't really know. So while that is cooking up, we need to take care of something else as well. Liquid air. We need argon. That's a very simple recipe. I love the new changes to applied energistics. You can craft as many items as you want. And it's also incredibly fast. We already have the distillation tower. So where does the air intake go? I don't know, in an input hatch? For items? Yes. Can you go faster? So it does take air from somewhere, and it gives us liquid air, which we are going to put it inside the drawer. We're going to link it to our system, and it's free, so storage upgrades. Maybe a bit more. That liquid air has to be centrifuged. It is going to give us nitrogen, oxygen, and argon. And yeah, you do go through these upgrades incredibly fast. Although I do have a feeling, no, not yet. I was thinking maybe I can make better upgrades. I think that is after titanium. So let me go and set up our distillation towers on the 2nd floor. Actually, the 2nd floor had to be raised by a few more blocks because I need space for cabling. But up here, we do have our distillation tower. And yes, there's a tiny one back here as well. So we're taking in the oil, we are consuming it at a ridiculous rate. We're getting light fuel, heavy fuel, and most importantly, naphtha. I'm just mixing naphtha with hydrogen, then with steam, and we're getting all of these goodies. Everything. And yeah, if you're wondering, it was off-centered. I had to move it again. It wasn't really fun. So originally my plan for today was to get the quantum armor. And as we're progressing, I think this is a bit more far away, because I'm running into a teeny tiny bit of a problem. Resources. Well, none of them are actually problems. It's just that I consumed 40,000 copper. I'm just worried. But out of that 40,000, 17,000 of that is copper dust. So I don't know, one of my plans is to start setting up a quarry and some sort of an ore processing, and we go mining in the other dimension. And yeah, I have made myself a machine infuser from RF Tools, and I'm infusing the builders. It will reduce the power consumption, and it will increase the speed. Also, one of the things that I really wanted to do was to get myself the dislocator from Draconic Evolution. So this is just a very garbage setup in order to get that. I do like the idea of having portals, but the problem is that, for example, if I'm here, I have to go to the overworld, then to the other dimension. With the dislocator, it should be a bit faster. Also, it's kind of funny, you were supposed to see this episode yesterday. I'm still here. I'm sorry. I thought machines are boring, so let's get over with it as soon as possible, but it's not going well. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 sets of Wyvern fusion crafting injectors, and that should be our dislocator. Thank you. So we just add fuel to it in the form of ender pearls. You can add all. That's quite nice. So I have just set up a waypoint. Yeah, we do teleport. Lovely. Let's go to the other dimension. Oh, and yeah, by the other dimension, I meant the mining dimension. So we are at Y level 250. Holy, it's okay, but I do have 2 Silk Touch quarry cards. Let's try to configure them. I think you can go to 512. We want it to be a box. We want it to be solid. 512 by 512 by 256. And I guess if we offset it by minus 128, it should be fine. Actually, for demonstration purposes, let's make it a bit smaller. Yeah, exactly. It starts from here, goes to bedrock. There is all the modium ore down there, and I think you cannot harvest it with a quarry as far as I know. So I have configured the machine to don't wait on a position if the operation is not possible. This guy is going to start at southwest corner, this one southeast. Let's see if it works. And we're getting grass. Didn't want grass. Okay, so that is our ore processing setup, formation planes, annihilation planes from Applied Energistics, right? It's going to be incredibly loud, so I'm going to turn off the sounds. There's a sound muffler, but it doesn't really work. So the ores that we're getting, everything goes inside the barrel. I thought maybe I should have 2 of them, but apparently 1 is more than enough. But symmetry is important, so I'm keeping the other one. Another very important thing is that thanks to our Isnium anvil, we have Fortune 9 on every single annihilation plane, and the resources that we're getting is just crazy. I even had to use all the Modium furnace because netherite furnaces were not keeping up at all. I just set this guy up, and if you guys remember, we had like 150,000 copper, now it's 675,000. Iron is also just going through the roof, 626,000, so it's working fine. However, there is a big problem. I'm getting the ores way faster than I can process them, I think. It's just a thought, I'm not sure. So I think maybe I should have a dedicated system for a few ores. So coal and lignite are things that we're getting in ridiculous quantities. That needs a dedicated system. I'm just gonna remove them from the formation plane. That's it. Yeah, you see how fast we're gaining coal? That's crazy. I think logic dictates we have a dedicated system for coal, iron, copper, and maybe lignite. When the sounds are off, it's weird. Also, I just have a question. Is it just me, or is it also harder for you to place down these kind of things on Applied Energistics cables in the recent version? I keep messing it up. Anyways, let me try to fix the filtering. I'll be right back. Well, I can say with confidence that that has been fixed. We're no longer having a huge backlog, and that is good. However, the rate that we're getting resources is just stupid. So I think this is going to be a one-time thing. Whenever the quarries are done, I'm just gonna dismantle that because that is a lag machine. Yeah, my TPS went from, I don't know, around 20 milliseconds to 36. Milliseconds, microseconds, I don't really know. We go with milliseconds. However, I have also realized I made a few boo-boos with the quarries, so let's go and fix them. First off, you don't need this button. It doesn't have to wait on a position. For some reason, it just ignores all the modium. With loot chest, it's a bit different. Secondly, I cannot find where the second quarry is digging. And thirdly, yeah, we're at Y256, but the world goes down to minus 64. I keep forgetting that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to reconfigure everything. Yeah, this time I just offset them. One of them is digging here, the other one here. And it's no longer 512 by 512, it's only 256. Because honestly, that's 1.5 million copper. It's crazy. However, since there's a very high chance that you're not going to see this episode today or tomorrow or even the next day, let's finish up the quantum armor. Besides, now I have the resources for it. Although not a ton of oil. I'm going to do that part on my own because I don't really think you guys are going to be interested in that, but... Aha, so you're obviously thinking, what happened to the but, which I mentioned in my last clip? There's no but. Because I was rambling on for a few minutes about my new discovery in modern industrialization, and then I realized it's not great. And the processing array was my new discovery. Didn't work as intended. But yeah, I have went up ahead and finished almost everything. We're up to the quantum upgrade. We are even making our second singularity, and I think we are going to need 5 more. Why is it the second one? Well, because I'm using the first one in order to make UU matter. Why is it dropping? Oh, power. Oops. Power is a thing, I never checked it. Yeah, we're dropping. Then I guess you don't need that many upgrades, because I can't keep up with the power. Well, technically speaking, the cable cannot keep up, otherwise we do have the power. Maybe not, that's a decent speed anyways. So before we proceed, there are a few points that I want to mention. So if you guys remember, around 20 minutes ago for you guys, I did mention that I cannot configure the machines and the machines are stupid. Although in my defense, I did mention I could be stupid as well. And that turned out true. You can drag and drop whatever you want from the JEI and put it in the machine and it will be filtered. So that actually solved my problem with the mixer, and the main reason that I had to learn that was this guy. This is something that makes you quantum circuit boards, and if you don't lock the output, it's just gonna make you superconducting coils. Because yeah, the machines are also a bit stupid. But I have literally done everything else that we needed in modern industrialization. We have every single machine, and yeah, you already saw that. We can make singularities. And to be honest with you, towards the end, I got so tired that I did not upgrade most of the machines. For example, the production of TNT was garbage, I added upgrades. And there are probably way more machines which have the same problem, but our second singularity should be ready any moment. But finally, one of the drives got full. Yeah, second one is ready. I can't craft all 4 at the same time, because, yeah. It's not that I don't have all of the resources, it's just that the drawers, the buffers are not that great. I had to increase them, but I can't go higher than that. So we have to make them bit by bit. But one of the things that you might notice is that almost everything is being crafted relatively fast. With all of that being done, I think we can also make our first quantum upgrade. I did mention some of the machines did not have upgrades, so yeah, now we're fine. There you go. First quantum upgrade. I should have waited for the singularity. Oh no, we already had one. Sorry. It's been a while. It's been 2 days. You know, I'm just walking around with the upgrades, trying to upgrade every single machine. But yeah, the singularity was done, I think. Now we're just waiting for the quantum upgrade. So, this is something very important. Somebody mentioned to me that, Lash, don't you dare make the quantum armor. You know, this guy over here, it does have a very simple recipe. You just need the quantum upgrade and the netherite leggings, or boots, or whatever. It does seem that it's way better to go with the quantum nano armor, so I have put everything from nano armor on auto crafting. We already have the saber. I guess for our first upgrade, we start with the helmet. Oh, and by the way, I think we have enough UU matter, so this singularity is now redundant. We can use it. It's making it. Who's making it? I literally set it up right now and I forgot. You're the one. I guess it doesn't really make sense to upgrade it. It does have upgrades. Aha. Time dilation. What? It's okay. Let's make our quantum helmet. How do you make it? You need a ton of upgrades. Okay. Some of the machines have weird requirements, but it's fine. It requires the good upgrades. Now, it's one of those mods which always requires an extra step. So I made a processing array, I put a packer inside, and this multi-block is now a packer. I think there is a problem with power, so I have an EV energy hatch, and let's see if it works. At this very moment I'm actually completely out of ideas, but I upgraded the energy hatch into SV, which I think it's IV, I don't know. And since this guy is going to consume 200 million EU, I'm just waiting for the buffer to fill in. Not the entire thing, just the 200 million. Any second, please start. Now, how is that a no? Okay, so as it turns out, you can use the quantum upgrade in order to upgrade your machine. And I think that's what we need, and that's actually not great because then I need 6 of them. Oh, and by the way, I was checking, the replicator seems to be disabled. Such a shame. So our brand new quantum upgrade should be ready in a few seconds, I hope. And I think, yeah, I can make one every hour? An hour and a half? Not exactly sure, but let's see if at least it works. Yeah, it does work. That was the problem. Yes. Oh, that looks weird. I'm assuming with this we're almost immortal. We need the rest of the pieces. What happened to all of my hearts? Oh yeah. It got reset. It's okay. I have to start working on the rest. And maybe also clean this place up. My fellow lords and ladies of darkness, do you remember that in Meatball Craft I had to make a bedrockium drum out of netherite blocks? Do you remember that? I wanted to finish everything in one episode, and what I did is that I started recording the next episode and then finished the previous one. You see where I'm going with this, right? So it has been 2 days later, I'm halfway through the next episode, and yeah, there has been some changes around the base. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our final quantum upgrade. It has been 2 days, but I think I should provide some explanation as well. So first off, I never ever made any rubber. We already had 6 villagers inside the compact machine which were giving us rubber and circuits and motors. Now we have 8 more. And I have gone through 60,000 emeralds. So they have been providing me all the rubber as well as all the analog circuits. Originally, I think I also went with like 30,000 buckets of oil, but that was nowhere near enough. I tried the drill. It's not the best, because you have to craft a lot of drills and they break every 5 minutes. So I do have a teeny tiny fluid laser drill from Industrial Foregoing. That oil is also acceptable. And yeah, I have also fixed up the place. Not everything, because I'm just tired of being here. Oh, it's ready. Yeah, I was going to say, I was just tired of being here. So the final part is the boots. And we are, I think, done with this mod. This is literally the only thing I wanted. It looks pinkish. Doesn't it look pinkish? I don't know. I do understand that in the comment section some of you guys are going to tell me that my setup was not very efficient, but remember, you need an efficient setup if there is an end game. We already have the armor, there's literally nothing else to do. It is very true, there is a replicator, but its recipe has been disabled, but it does require UU matter. That's it, right? And UU matter can be done in one block. So in any case, I just wanted the armor. I'm not really that interested in the machines. But I am mumbling a lot. Let's go and test this. So first off, you do a crazy amount of damage. Secondly, we are in the other dimension, and where is the pyramid? I did mark it. Oh boy. Pixies. They're jerks. And just in case you're wondering, yeah, I'm gonna kill that bee. Wait a minute. There's a mausoleum. So nice. First things first, are we invincible? Let's punch him. Yeah, I think. We one-shot everyone, which is great. Where's the bee? Actually, the main question is that where did I die? There. Did the bee die? I mean, worst comes to worst, we can just find another pyramid. Oh, that's the bee. Yes. It's a dragon bee. I'm actually scared. Do you kill me? No. We're good. Suit integrity compromised. It's okay. We take the bee for further experiments. So can you kill them? Is the question. This is another one. Doesn't drop anything. Anyways, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. I'm very sorry that there are no graves in this one, but hopefully it's going to be in the next one. The problem is that my brain is no longer functioning at all. But bye-bye. So there are dragons. Interesting.